Welcome, Cowboy fans and Cowboy haters alike. I'm the G, and I'm the host of Let's Talk Cowboys, where we talk facts. Let's talk facts. I was hoping to resume where I was yesterday, but of course, we have got some breaking news. And since we got some breaking news, let's just break the news. So let's talk about this first, because this trade thing, this requires some serious conversation. But first things first, Dak Prescott's injury is serious. I mean, for all intents and purposes, as far as what we know. But Dak typically refuses to go on injured reserve. You heard me talking about that yesterday. What's going on, Roberta? But Dak has went on injured reserve. So that means that Dak Prescott is going to be out a minimum of 4 weeks. So that means we're going to have to observe what happens next. And the reason why I say observe what happens next, because I believe, and I could be wrong, but I believe it all depends on how the Dallas Cowboys do the next 4 games. It all depends on how the Dallas Cowboys do the next 4 games. If the Dallas Cowboys find a way to, if they win 3 games, Dak is back week 4. No doubt about it. Dak is back in 4 weeks if the Cowboys win 3 games. 2 games, maybe. What's going on, Joseph? 2 games, maybe. If they win 1 game, everyone prepare yourself. I will not be shocked if Dak Prescott doesn't play another game this season if they go 1-2 or 0-3. Because these high quote-unquote hamstring injuries, they're so hard to deal with. And the one thing that Dak does not want to be dealing with going into the offseason is a serious injury. And you don't want to risk anything. You wind up having to have some kind of surgery or something like that. You just don't want to deal with this kind of stuff. So at the end of the day, I think everyone needs to prepare themselves. We might have seen the last play from Dak Prescott against the Atlanta Falcons. So it is what it is. And I got a video coming out later on tonight, and I'm going to talk about it even today at the 6 o'clock hour, somewhere around there. But this is Mike McCarthy's fault. This is Mike McCarthy's fault. This is Jerry Jones' fault. And I'm going to continue along those same lines the remainder of this week. I was doing some more studying of the game, Dallas Cowboys and the Falcons. And there's a guy named Big R, and he was pointing out something about the plays that happen immediately when the Cowboys come out. The third quarter is just the Cowboys' Achilles heel. And I don't know, Mike McCarthy just can't do anything about these third quarters. They continue to be sloppy. They continue to get outscored. It's just blunder after blunder after blunder. It's no coincidence that the fake punt happens in the third quarter. It's no coincidence that the opening drive, the Cowboys, they get a false start. It's 1st and 15. Rico Dowdle runs the ball for 10 yards. And then we get, I'm thinking, either Ferguson or CeeDee Lamb. They catch the ball to the left or the right. I think it's about 3 yards. And, it's a no yard gain. And then they catch the third down pass for 3 yards. And then it's 4th and 2. And if I'm not mistaken, I think it's right in there where Mike McCarthy, I don't care what anyone says. If Mike McCarthy didn't get fired this week, we know he's not going to be fired this whole season. There's nothing he can do now. Because if Mike McCarthy was going to be fired, the fake punt against the Atlanta Falcons on your own side of the field, where it's clearly not the time. Why are you going to pick it right there? And I'm saying all of this because the fake punt led to the Dallas Cowboys being down 21-10. And guess what has to happen once they get down 21-10? Mike McCarthy, because he panics, he's not coaching the team. Mike McCarthy panics. And when Mike McCarthy panics, y'all know what he does? Pass, 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 pass. He don't care if it's the second quarter. He don't care if it's the third. It's pass, pass, pass. He just loses his mind. He loses his mind. Mike McCarthy absolutely put Dak Prescott in a situation to where he had to pass, 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 and he really didn't have to. And then Dak Prescott, trying to be, I guess, the hero, running and whatever the case may be, pulls a hamstring. CeeDee Lamb, fireable offense. CeeDee Lamb should have never been in that game. After CeeDee got that injury, shut it down. You can't even shut the wide receiver down. What's going on with that? Mike McCarthy is terrible, and he's not coaching this football team. And he's one of the reasons why Dak Prescott is gone. So we may have seen our last play from Dak Prescott. And I got to do some more listening. But it sounds like this morning on the radio, Jerry Jones is doing what Jerry Jones does. Talking real positive in a situation to where anyone who's looking is saying, you're no longer fooling us, Jerry. This is a complete mess of a season. You're not fooling us no more. All of your, I got confidence in these guys and the coach. I'm going to show you guys this evening. But if Jerry Jones still says he has confidence in Mike McCarthy, Jerry Jones is a flat-out liar. Y'all tell me this. How do you have full confidence in a coach and he doesn't have a contract? How do you say you love his football mind, but yet and still you haven't signed him to a contract? I'm not believing nothing that Jerry Jones is telling me. I'm not buying what Jerry Jones is selling. Anytime you were confident in that coaching staff, none of them would be on one-year deals. None of them. I'm not buying nothing Mike McCarthy is saying. Nothing that Jerry Jones is saying. It is pure, unadulterated foolishness. And the reason why Jerry Jones is not distraught by what he's seeing from Mike McCarthy, because it's going as planned. And Mike Fisher, respect his journalism, respect his accomplishments over the years, but I'm not believing nothing. I'm not going to say I'm believing nothing, but Mike Fisher is not being honest either. I believe from the very beginning of the season, you cannot tell me that if Jerry Jones is all in on the team he has now, that he intended on going to a Super Bowl. There is no way, with all the depth that he lost, with all the veterans he lost, with the players he lost, the way he did the salary cap, the lack of work in free agency, no Derrick Henry, no Hassan Reddick, nothing in free agency. There is no way, Mike Fisher, that you can say Jerry Jones did not intend to lose. No, Jerry didn't intend to lose the way that he's losing, but Jerry Jones had to anticipate losing. It's a lie. I'm not believing nothing Jerry Jones says. Not Jerry Jones, the GM. I'm not believing nothing that Jerry Jones, the GM, is saying. Nisi said it's so funny how once Dak got paid, Jerry doesn't want him to run, but the O-line wasn't shored up for him not to run. Nisi, Jerry knows. Jerry knows doggone well that line that he put together, that thing ain't ready for prime time. That thing is not ready for prime time. And what I don't like about what Dak Prescott did, and I said this last week, I hope Dak doesn't start listening to the chatter because they're saying, well, Joe Flacco got more running yards than you, so why don't you run? And Dak took his butt right out there and ran. I don't succumb to the pressure of people. We got to stop succumbing to the pressure of people. Don't force yourself to do anything. If you don't want to do it, don't do it. If you don't feel comfortable doing it, don't do it. This is the society we live in. It's this it's this clique, it's this what people think. Man, I don't care what people think. If I can't do it, I'm not going to do it. And I'm laughing because Micah Parsons is so strange. I'm gonna do a report on Micah Parsons because Micah Parsons said yesterday that we've been spoiled by these quarterbacks who come out and they be so successful and, they do so many things in crunch time and they use their legs and blah, blah, blah. And he included Dak Prescott. That's not good enough. You need to apologize to Dak Prescott. But he says that there's nothing wrong with quarterbacks playing traditional quarterback. What does he mean by traditional quarterback? Because if we think about the traditional quarterback, they win games from the pocket. A traditional quarterback, and let's not make this about race, because that's not where Micah Parsons was going. It's okay to run as a quarterback sometimes, because you have to. But there's no coincidence that even with all of the athletes and the athleticism that we're seeing today, these guys are bigger, stronger, faster in some cases. Isn't it strange how it still remains tried and true? You want to win Super Bowls, you win them from the pocket. Doesn't mean you're not going to run some, but if you're going to win Super Bowls, you're winning those from the pocket. You're winning those playing traditional quarterback. And Dak Prescott, I think Dak Prescott still can run. But it was like I explained, and Dak partially explained it too. The way we're running our offense right now and the way teams are playing us, this West Coast, Mike McCarthy went away from the Texas coast. The West Coast is short passing game. It's basically an extension of the running game. It's short passes. And so it requires super studs all the way across the line. And then you have the defensive backs. They're always facing you. They're always facing you. That's why it's important in the West Coast. You got to at least have a successful running back. You got to have a successful running game. You got to be able to freeze guys at the line. You got to be able to fool them to make them think that you are going to run or you can run. And that way you can kind of keep them guessing with some play action. But if you're not running the ball, if you refuse to run the ball, and they pretty much know you're not going to run the ball, well, they're going to just sit there and look until these wide receivers run up to them, and they're always facing, so there's really no room for the running back to run out of the back. The quarterback to run out of the backfield. And Dak explained that same way I did. He ran against Atlanta because Atlanta plays off coverage. And the crazy thing is, I think that's why Mike McCarthy tried to take advantage of the short game. But the problem is, it was the very thing that done him in. They should have tried to stretch him out further down the field even more. And when Dak saw the opening, what did he do? He ran. But the problem is, like I said, if you're going to run, Dak, make sure you can run out of bounds. Make sure you can slide. Y'all see what happened to him? Dak wound up taking the hit. He wound up taking the hit. And so, there you go. It's the end of the story. But Dak Prescott, I'm not going to be surprised unless we see something that is out of this world and the Dallas Cowboys find a way to win 3 of these games, maybe even 2. They wind up winning these games. I think we'll see Dak Prescott back. But we might have seen our last game from Dak Prescott. Nisi said, I haven't been fooled by Jerry for 30 years. Roberta says he has lost his mind. Confidence in your head coach, but you constantly undermine him. That's exactly what I'm going to point out. Jerry is a walking contradiction. He's got full confidence in his coaching staff and in Mike. But it was just the week before you was talking about his play design is terrible. Make it make sense. Make it make sense. And if he was truly Where's the contract, Jerry? Because if you got full confidence in him, there's no use in holding us in suspense. I mean, what are you waiting on to see what he's going to do? Because at the end of the day, to me, it's not you're not waiting to see what he's going to do. I mean, it's like you're waiting to see what is the worst thing he can do. I just don't know if he can top that fake punt. I mean, your quarterback is done. The fake punt. I don't know what else. What else can this man do? Because I told y'all 2 weeks ago when Jerry told the story of Wade Phillips, I knew where Jerry was going. Jerry was basically saying there is nothing that Mike McCarthy can do short of committing a crime and going to jail with no bail. It would be the only way Jerry would fire him. Short of that, he's still going to be the coach. And notice what I said. No bail. Mike McCarthy could go to jail. As long as he got bail, Jerry would have him on that sideline screwing up the team. Shame on you, Jerry. Shame on you. Yeah, Micah's talking again. Yep, talking again. Trying to be an analyst. And by all intents and purposes, we'll see by the end of the week. We'll be reporting on it. Micah Parsons said he's going to play. He said he's going to play. So let's turn to this breaking news, because this is what we're going to do some discussion on intently. The Dallas Cowboys have signed from the Carolina Panthers. They have traded the Carolina Panthers for Jonathan Mingo. I had to look him up because I was like, who is Jonathan Mingo? Is he the starting? Is he the starting wide receiver for the Carolina Panthers? Is he the first, the second, or the third wide receiver for the Carolina Panthers? Who is Jonathan Mingo? Y'all tell me. Who is Jonathan Mingo? And as I began to think about this, I'm about to show y'all something. I'm about to show y'all why we're just going to be liking the Dallas Cowboys. Because Jerry, I don't know who he's listening to, but there's something not quite right about what's going on with the Dallas Cowboys. Because one, Jonathan Mingo cannot be a player that you're picking up for this season. What can Jonathan Mingo do for us this season? And this is the very reason why I question the trade. If you know he can't do anything for you this season, you know your quarterback is out, why in the world would you go and get this guy? And you say, well, and I'm rationalizing with myself. I'm saying, okay, so if we got Jonathan Mingo is going to be a part of the plan, I assume. Because there's nothing he does for you this year. So you're going to use him for next year, correct? Can y'all help me out? Why would you spend a 4th round draft pick on a wide receiver that's number 6 on the depth chart? Why does the Dallas Cowboys not value 4th round draft picks when that is exactly where you get good running backs, good linebackers, even good cornerbacks? You can get so many good skill positions in the 4th round. Hold on a second. How about a backup quarterback? Do y'all know we got Dak Prescott in the 4th round? So why is it that someone on the Dallas Cowboys council seem to not value 4th round draft picks? we have literally thrown away a 4th-round draft pick on Trey Lance. Y'all tell me what the return is on Trey Lance. What's the return? And someone says, well, last year in the draft, they made a trade and they were able to get a 4th-round back. So it kind of equaled out. Equaled out? You could have had 2 4th-round draft picks. Does anybody not realize what we could have done with 2 4th-round draft picks? The Gorindo kid from the San Francisco 49ers. Do you know they used the draft pick they got from the Dallas Cowboys to get that running back? And he's going to be good. He ran all over us. There's something wrong. There's something wrong with this team. And I don't know unless these 2 guys fire themselves. I used to have a lot of confidence in Will McClay. I can't say a lot about Will McClay at this point because I don't know where he's figuring into all these decisions. But if Will McClay even has a voice in this, shame on you. Shame on you. If you spoke up and they overrode you, Will McClay, get out of Dallas. Your kid's graduating this year. Get out of Dallas. Because for them not to value 4th-round draft picks, we threw one away with Trey Lance. Do y'all know Trey Lance is literally going to walk away from the Dallas Cowboys scot-free? No compensation. He's getting paid $5 million. Now, it sounds like, from what I'm hearing from Jerry Jones this morning, Jerry's going to allow Trey Lance to entertain us for, if Dak is out, I'm pretty sure, I'm not going to be shocked if Trey Lance finishes the season. But Jerry's going to let Trey Lance entertain us. But you know what's so funny about Jerry Jones letting Trey Lance entertain us? I want y'all to follow this. Just imagine. What if Trey Lance goes out here and lights it up? Well, let's just imagine this. Trey Lance goes out here, wins 3 games in a row, lights it up, running and throwing. Dak Prescott comes back 4th game. They continue on with the momentum. They go into the playoffs. So you're telling me we're going to allow Trey Lance to put on an audition tape for the entire NFL, and we're not going to get any compensation? So we gave him $5 million to hold the clipboard. We didn't attempt to trade him at the trade deadline, because if there's anybody I'm going to be on the phone trying to trade, it's going to be Trey Lance. Has anybody thought of this? Is there someone out there, even if I can get a 6th-round draft pick, I know he's going to be gone at the end of the season, but let me will and deal. Let me start talking. Hey, there might be quite a few people that may want to take a chance on Trey Lance. So rather than you waiting on Trey Lance to get out there in a trade frenzy, or, I mean, not a trade frenzy, but rather than you letting him get into free agency, and then people start bidding on Trey Lance, and they start raising up the money on Trey Lance, you know what? Why don't you trade for him now? And you can be negotiating with him the whole time in your building. And then you can sign him to a deal before anybody else gets him. Because I'm telling you, I'm hearing through the grapevine, there's probably about 5 or 6 teams looking at Trey Lance. I can't believe nobody's been talking about Trey Lance as being possible trade bait for the Cowboys. I'm telling y'all, I wish Trey Lance would have got another opportunity. Not with the Dallas Cowboys. We're just not the team for him. Not to mention, Mike McCarthy's not the coach for him. He needs to get somewhere where the environment is stable. They can evaluate his talent, help him improve, and help him to become a solid quarterback. Somebody's going to say, we're riding with you, Trey Lance. We're rebuilding for 2 years. We're riding with you. Let's go. But I just can't believe the Cowboys. I don't know. Maybe they have been. But I'm just shocked that they haven't been trying to trade him. And that's why I'm shocked with this Mingo move. This Mingo move is baffling to me. And the reason why it's baffling to me is because if he's that good, it's the same argument I'm making with the quote unquote mythological Cooper Rush, 5-1. You would think Cooper Rush is 50-1. I mean, this guy has a mythological legend amongst the Dak Prescott haters, which they still won't answer the question that if Cooper Rush is this magical unicorn, how was he still the backup for Dak Prescott? Do y'all know that Cooper Rush is so good? Somebody says, how good is he? Do y'all know Cooper Rush is so good that Cooper Rush is not even in the top list of backups? Cooper Rush signed a 2-year, $5 million deal with the Dallas Cowboys. Now, y'all got to make it make sense. Do y'all know for Cooper Rush to sign a $5 million contract with the Dallas Cowboys, do y'all realize that means that nobody else wanted him? Do y'all know the Dallas Cowboys actually allowed Cooper Rush to shop himself? No, nobody wanted him. Nobody wanted the mythological unicorn. Nobody wanted him. Trey Lance is making more than him. I don't understand all the Cooper Rush talk. And so now we go get Jonathan Mingo. And I don't even understand the Jonathan Mingo issue. And the reason why I don't understand the Jonathan Mingo issue, and I would like somebody to give me some rationale. Will Sports says Jones are business people, not football people. 1000% agree. Maybe there's some rationale. Will Sports, that's why we need a real GM. Y'all remember what I said yesterday? I don't think the Cowboys need a head coach / play caller. I think they need a head coach who has a play caller, who has a defense coordinator, because they have mentality problems. They need serious coaching, a coach who is hands-on both sides of the ball, a coach who is not afraid to get on players on both sides of the ball, a player that's not, as Jerry Jones keeps saying, the players like Mike McCarthy. Yeah, but they think he stinks as a coach. I'll be honest with you. I don't even think the Cowboys necessarily need a coach that they like. They just need a coach they respect. I don't care if you like me. If I'm the boss, there are going to be some people that don't like me. Lazy people, they're not going to like me. People who can't think, they're not going to like me. There are a lot of people who are not going to like you if you do things right. So I'm not concerned about people liking, but I am concerned about people respecting. I had a guy tell me one time, he said, "Hey, George," he said, "it's easier to come in and be a disciplinarian and become nice than to be nice and to become a disciplinarian." He's right. Because one thing people respect about people who do things right, they treat everyone fairly. They treat people the same. When you see people who are about their business, even if you don't like them, you say, "Man, I don't like them, but I respect them." Mike McCarthy is one of them dudes who you say, "I like him, but I got a hard time respecting him." Jerry needs a coach. Jerry needs a serious coach. And Jerry and whoever that coach is needs to put Jerry on a contract to say all football business belongs to me, period. Stay out of the way. I don't understand the Jonathan Mingo thing, and I'm about to show you why I don't understand it. Esquire 1995 says, as long as the Cowboys are the most lucrative franchise in the world, Jerry is satisfied. Super Bowl be damned. He has 3, and the Cowboys are in the media mouth constantly. You just summed it up, Esquire. We've been talking about those very things. It's the most valuable sports franchise in the world. Washington traded for Marshawn Lattimore. Now, you notice what the teams who are trying to win are doing? The teams who are trying to win, they're adding players so they can win today. Jerry got traded for moments like this. His insurance player. And if he comes in and does great, then he will pay him to back up until Dak's next contract. I think that's true, Jay Recruiter. But you know where I think he's going to make a mistake? Trey Lance. Because we know how cheap Dallas is. Watch this, y'all. The mistake they made with Trey Lance, they picked up that fifth. They didn't pick up the fifth-year option, but they paid him $5 million for this year. Do y'all understand how cheap the Dallas Cowboys are? The Dallas Cowboys are stupid cheap. They're going to let Trey Lance prance right out there in the free agency. Because this is how the Cowboys work. They that guy or that girl, somebody who they want to use up. They want to see first who else wants them before they express how they feel about them. And if nobody else wants them, they just keep treating them like dirt. So what they want to do, they're going to wait and see what will be the offers for Trey Lance. And then if Trey Lance don't get any offers, a la Cooper Rush, anybody? You want to know why we got Cooper Rush on this cheap deal as a backup quarterback? The mythological unicorn who's 5-1. How in the world is he only paid $5 million for 2 years, y'all? How is he being paid for only? How is he being paid? Y'all help me out. How is the mythological unicorn being paid the amount of money that he's being paid? His base salary, $1.5 million. Signing bonus, $625,000. Cap hit, $2.1 million. Dead cap, 2.7. Tell me how the mythological unicorn is getting paid that amount of money. Jerry gonna let Trey Lance hit that free agency because he wants to see if someone's gonna offer him money. This is how they operate. Because if they were gonna sign Trey Lance, they would have already signed him. You're already paying him $5 million. Why risk him going out there in the free agency? Because I have a funny feeling Trey Lance is probably going to get offered more than $5 million in a quarterback-starved league, especially on some of them teams who are saying, man, this dude is still young. We could probably do like 1 year of work with him, and we could have Trey Lance ready to go. He's an athlete, strong arm. I think there's going to be some buyers for Trey Lance. So Jerry's going to let Trey Lance prance his butt out there. And if Trey Lance lights it up, Jay Recruiter, you will not see Trey Lance in Dallas if he goes out there and lights it up over these next few games because Jerry's going to give him the opportunity. Crush says, yeah, but meanwhile, Detroit signed Zadarius Smith. Well, you got to think about it. The rich get richer. The rich get richer, as in the people who are trying to win. You know what? I love the mentality of these teams who are doing this. I love their mentality. They're saying it's not enough. That's all they're saying. It's not enough. We want to win the chip now. We want it now. Isn't it strange that Lamar Jackson got a similar contract to Dak Prescott and everybody keep talking about the contract that Dak Prescott got? And isn't it strange? The Baltimore Ravens are still trying to put weapons around Lamar Jackson. Everybody's doing it. Everybody is trying to put weapons around these high-paid quarterbacks. Why? Why isn't everybody like the Dallas Cowboys? Well, we paid him $60 million. He's going to have to do more with less. Not on these other teams. We paid him $52 million. We about to get our money's worth. Surround them with as much talent as we can. Man, these dudes said, man, I don't care. We got to kick this money down the street, around the corner, up in the sky. We're going to work this salary cap until somebody tell us that we can't do it the way we're doing it. The Philadelphia Eagles got Saquon Barkley. Just think about that. That's insane. That is literally insane. And we running around complaining, and the Dallas Cowboy fans get so fooled by the owner who they say they don't trust. The owner who you can't trust is saying that it's the salary cap. And you're believing him? Stop it. It's pure silliness. Niecy said, I wanted them to bring in Cam Newton as a backup when he was done in New England. Nah, Cam Newton too big for the cap. He's too big. Cam Newton, Niecy, is actually a victim of his own stature. Not his play, but his stature. He Cam Newton. Do you realize how many players grew up watching Cam Newton? These guys watched him in college, tear it up. Watched him at Blinn, tear it up. Watched him in the pros for about a 4-year, maybe 5-year span. Cam Newton was unstoppable. Tear it up. Guys have talked about it. When you see Cam Newton in person, menacing. Menacing. He's just so dominant in a locker room. And that's why Bill Belichick let him go. Because it was too close between him and Matt Jones. And there was no way that Bill Belichick was going to fully pass the torch to Matt Jones with Cam Newton being there in the locker room. Because that's the kind of figure that he is. Cam Newton is too dominant for Dak Prescott. He's not better than Dak Prescott. I mean, especially in these last 5 years, I'm saying. Now, we're not talking about prime Cam Newton. I mean, you're probably taking nobody over prime Cam Newton short of what? Tom Brady. I mean, some of those elite quarterbacks. So, but even now, Cam Newton's voice is too loud. And that's why a lot of people haven't brought him in. That's why Carolina wouldn't bring him in for Bryce Young. That's why he was talking about he'd go to Washington for Jaden Daniels. Said he'd go to Chicago to work with Caleb Williams. No, they said, no. Cam Newton get up in here and let him complete about 5 passes in practice. And zipping them things down. He got an arm. He's just not as accurate as he needs to be. Cam Newton starts zipping a couple of them things down the field. He get to running through some people in practice. Guess what everybody thinking? Cam ought to be the starter. No, he couldn't be in Dallas, Niecy. Even in his current state, he could, especially when he left New England, he couldn't have been in Dallas. It'd have been too much. These Dallas Cowboy fans would have went crazy if he'd have stepped up. Niecy, think about it. The Dallas Cowboy fans went crazy with Trey Lance. I can remember some people where I came from talking about, poor Trey Lance, boy, he's about to take us. He can't even beat Cooper Rush. But he's more entertaining. I think he's going to be more entertaining than Cooper Rush. And Jerry is so arrogant, he's going to prance him out there. And if he does well, Jerry's going to say, I told you. Well, it's too late to justify that 4th round pick now because he didn't live up to it in the preseason. But Jerry going to let him prance out there, and you're not going to see Trey Lance after this season. Mingo had the worst quarterback throwing to him. Let's see what he can do with Dak at the wheel. Spider-Man. I'm glad you said that because when I heard his name, my spidey senses started tingling. Watch this. Tired Cowboy fans said we a joke. Maybe this Mingo trade speaks to what they think about Tolbert. There it is, Spider-Man. I think there's an issue of what they think about not only Tolbert, Jalen Brooks, Kevontae Turpin, Brandon Cooks. But I still am not a fan of the move. What up, Freddie? Because I want them to go in the draft. The Cowboys are freaking lazy, man. Go in the draft. Don't bring Jonathan Mingo in here and use him as an excuse not to go in that draft and get you a wide receiver in the first round. The thing that I don't like about Jerry Jones, y'all, he's always trying to protect the ego of his players. The players that he loves to protect their ego. He won't bring in any competition for them. I'll tell you this. Y'all know how I feel about Dak Prescott. But Jerry hasn't even done a good enough job to keep a better backup behind Dak Prescott to really push him to levels that we haven't seen yet. Cooper Rush ain't no threat for Dak Prescott, never has been. He's only the mythological unicorn in the eyes of the fan. These Dak Prescott hating fans, they would have anybody. They take me off the street over Dak Prescott. But Jerry should have had a better backup in here. A better backup. Not to take Dak's spot, but to push Dak. Because Dak, y'all might not realize it, but do y'all remember what Dak said about Trey Lance? He's pushing me, and I want him to keep pushing me. Because that's the kind of stuff that when iron sharpens iron, the Bible tells us that. That means that if there is someone in your vicinity that is equal or almost on your level, they push you with their skill and you push them with your skill. Because even though you're not competing, you are competing in a sense. Jerry didn't do a good job of that. Jerry wanted to hand the reins over to CeeDee Lamb. What did he do? He don't even realize what he did. He crippled CeeDee Lamb by not keeping Amari Cooper. Amari Cooper was pushing CeeDee Lamb. He was pushing him through his route running. He was pushing him through the way he caught the ball. He was pushing him the way he carried himself. Amari Cooper was pushing CeeDee Lamb. And Jerry let his feelings get the best of him and let go of CeeDee Lamb. But he should have kept CeeDee Lamb because you don't need necessarily two number ones. But I do think you need a 1 and a 1B or a 1 and a 2. And I mean a bona fide 2 who's on the verge of being a number 1. He got to keep pushing that number 1 because that number 1 needs to always keep in his mind. Man, I got somebody over here. Man, this dude balling. So I got to make sure I run every route crisp. I can't let not one ball touch the ground. That's how you got to be. And my problem with the Jonathan Mingo kid, he's going to allow the Dallas Cowboys to be lazy in that draft and not go get a wide receiver. I just want to see what's going to happen with this. They should not have gotten Mingo. And I'm going to show you another reason why. Detroit has never won and is doing everything. That's what happens when the owner is charged. You just said it, Niecy. I talk to my son sometimes about rap artists. And I tell him, notice how a rap artist raps, how he sounds, how good, how gritty, how authentic he sounds. When he doesn't have a deal. He sounds different when he don't have a deal. You can hear the hunger. You can feel the creativity. You can feel the realness. You can hear the realness in the lyrics. He's telling you how he lived, where he come from, what he want to do. And then when he get that deal, he sounds totally different. He sounds totally different when he gets that deal. And that's why you have to keep these players. You want to keep them hungry. You want to keep them competitive. You want to keep them in a state of where they're always trying to achieve their best. You want to keep them like that. Because I'm going to tell y'all something. Tom Brady was very uncomfortable with Jimmy Garoppolo. Man, you want to talk about playing some ball? Man, Tom said, y'all going to bring in Jimmy Garoppolo? Watch me go win a Super Bowl. You think I'm washed up? You trying to run me out of town, Bill? I'm going to win a Super Bowl. And I'm going to run Jimmy Garoppolo out of town. But I'm telling us, Jerry has done a poor job of this. And this Jonathan Mingo kid, what's bothering me is I think he's going to allow the Dallas Cowboys to be lazy. See, Nisi, you hit it on the head. Detroit ain't never won nothing, so they're doing everything they can do to win. I think we may be watching the next Philadelphia Eagle team because they did the same thing, man. They were so hungry for a Super Bowl. They was signing everybody they could get to help them win that Super Bowl, and that's how they won that Super Bowl. Unfortunately, Carson Wentz, and for all intents and purposes, man, Carson Wentz was never the same after that leg injury. But before that leg injury, Carson Wentz was lighting it up. And Philly was doing everything they could do to win that Super Bowl. And they got it. And right now in the NFC, Detroit right now looks head and shoulders above everybody. They look head and shoulders. They manhandled Green Bay. And there was one player, I forget who he was. He was complaining in the press. He said that the Detroit Lions shouldn't be blowing out every team the way they're doing. Detroit is mauling teams and still trying to get more players on that team. And it sounds like they got somebody to replace Hutchinson that's going to help him with the draft. First time this Mingo catches a TD pass, people will be calling Jerry Jingles for trading for him. You know what? And a lot of people don't realize they're Jerry's worst. They're the problem for Jerry Jones. Because they want him to do something so good, so bad, that even when he does something mediocre, they start screaming his praises. But I'm not going to scream his praises on this Mingo thing because I think it's going to allow them to be lazy. And I don't think they should have got Mingo. If you are truly doing what you say you were doing, then don't you be buyers at the trade deadline. You need to be sellers. You need to be sellers. I got a whole list that I had for yesterday's show of people who I think the Dallas Cowboys should be trying to trade. And we'll go over them in the afternoon show. But I'm telling you right now, Micah Parsons should have been at the top of the list for the Dallas Cowboys. You want your next Herschel Walker trade, Jerry Jones? And y'all, don't get this twisted. I like Micah Parsons. The player, man, Micah Parsons off the chain. I even think Micah Parsons, the man, does some good things. I think he's a little too busy with his podcast, though. I think he needs to figure out ways to where maybe during the season, he needs to figure out something else with that podcast. Maybe even let someone else host it during the football season. And then when the football season is over, well, we're always looking for things about the Dallas Cowboys. Okay, then come on in the offseason and talk to us about a few things. But I think he needs to figure out something with that podcast. So I like Micah Parsons, the player and the man. But Micah Parsons seems to also, at times, he seems like he doesn't necessarily want to be on the team. He has an affinity for Dan Quinn. You want two number ones and a number two or a number three? Here it is. Micah Parsons could help you build the whole franchise. Trevon Diggs, anybody? He should be on there. Jordan Lewis, he should be on the trade block. Zach Martin, he should be on the trade block. DeMarcus Lawrence, he should be on the trade block. Brandon Cooks, he should be on the trade block. Eric Kendricks, he should be on the trade block. Trey Lance, he should be on the trade block. You're saying, why do you want to trade all those players? Because all those players are on one-year deals. What are you getting for them? What are you getting for them once they walk away? What are you getting? I mean, we're watching how Zach Martin is playing. Jordan Lewis is on his last part of his deal. Trevon Diggs and Micah Parsons, they're your only true, pieces you can get them first and seconds for. But the rest of them, you could probably, you could get maybe a fourth, a fifth, sixth, seventh. I don't care what you get. Why don't you get about 19 or 20 picks? Because guess what you can do with those 19 or 20 picks? You can either pick all 19 or 20, or better yet, you can trade them and you can move up in the draft. Could y'all imagine where the Cowboys are right now? What if they could finagle 2 number 2s, 2 number 3s, That's how you build a team. That's what they did with the Herschel Walker trade. If you go back and look at what all the moves they made with that Herschel Walker trade, it was crazy. I mean, they literally turned that into so many picks. It's crazy when you look at the picks that resulted from that Herschel Walker trade. I'm going to show y'all that in the offseason. But again, I'm going the long way around, but I just want to show you something. What's going on, Uncle Charles? I just want to show y'all another reason why I don't like the pick with Mingo. We need the picks to show up the trenches. That's why I think that fourth round, I don't understand why the Dallas Cowboys are throwing around fourth round picks like they're compensatory picks. Fourth round? That's an impact player. If I pick you in the first, second, third, and fourth, you're playing. You're playing. You're not getting developed unless you're a quarterback. You're playing. I'm telling this, I don't understand the move that he made today. I was just watching Mingo's college and NFL highlights, and his yak is pretty good. Okay, I'm about to show you something, Nisi. They thought Dak wasn't a threat to Romo, and look what happened. Pushed him right on out the door, didn't he, Nisi? Great point. And I'm going to tell y'all something. Even if Romo hadn't got hurt, I bet you we'd have seen the best version of Romo we ever saw in our lives, because he'd have knew, hey, hold on a second. This dude right here, this dude trying to take my spot. We'd have saw the best Romo we ever seen in our life. Freddie says in the 2025 draft, I think the boys go running back in the first round, wide receiver in the second, and offensive guard in the third. I'm thinking the same thing. But I wish they wouldn't have got Mingo, because I know how the Joneses think. At least I think I do. If Mingo looks even halfway decent, let's just say, I think you just mentioned it, Freddie. Let's just say Mingo comes out here and all of a sudden Cooper Rush is lighting it up. Because now he got CeeDee Lamb and he got Mingo, which to me, this is saying that the Joneses must think that Mingo is better than Tolbert. So you get this Mingo kid out here and he starts lighting it up. So what's going to be your incentive to go get a wide receiver in the first round? Because I think they should be looking for a wide receiver in the first round. Why don't we give Trey Lance a chance at least he would run the ball? Oh, no, Uncle Charles, Jerry has already mentioned it. We're about to get the Trey Lance show. And I already knew this. I was talking about it yesterday. We're about to get the Trey Lance show. Don't you worry about it. And it's no longer about giving Trey Lance a chance, because we blew that. Because now Trey Lance is going to be an unrestricted free agent at the end of the season. So he's going to be able to go to whoever he wants to go to. And if I'm Trey Lance, people are talking about, yeah, I think he'll make him the backup. And I think that's what Jerry will try to do too if he doesn't get any offers. But I don't know about y'all. But if I'm Trey Lance and I've been with this organization now for 2 years and I've watched what they've done, I don't want no part of this organization. I don't want no part of this organization. Unless it's about more than football. Now, if I want everybody to know my name, like Trey Songz said, well, if I want everybody to know my name, I'm going to stay with the Cowboys. But if I want to make a name for myself, I don't want no part of the Cowboys. I don't know about y'all, but I just think different. If I'm sitting here and I'm Trey Lance, and I look at what they did, what they tried to use me for as it applied to Dak Prescott. And I promise y'all, Trey Lance right now, if you ask him, he'd tell you Dak Prescott is one of the best guys he's ever been around. If I'm Trey Lance and I saw how you treated Dak Prescott, you think I'm going to hang around and let you treat me like that? Nah, I'll take my services somewhere else. Spider-Man says another thing to think about when Mingo trade, are they building for the future head coach? That's another reason why I don't like it. That's another reason why I don't like it, because Jerry does this too much. Jerry will get a head coach, and then Jerry wants to put everything around him. Jerry wants to pick everything around him. We're watching how that turns out. If you're going to let a head coach come in and change the culture of your team, then let him change the culture of your team and let him put his own fingerprints on the players that you may get in the draft. You don't let him pick the whole draft, but you let him get his fingers in there. Okay, This is what we're looking at with all of our draft picks. We got them laid out. This is our draft board. Okay, tell us what you think, Coach. Don't bring him in and start talking about, oh, yeah, we got this guy right here, and we got this guy right here, we got this guy right here, and we got you this coach, and we got you this. Well, what do I get to get? Bill Parcells made it famous. If I'm going to do the cooking, then let me buy the groceries. And you might not let me buy all the groceries, but let me, if we walking down the vegetable aisle and we going to get some lettuce, let me pick the lettuce. Which one do I want? Do I want romaine? Do I want the red leaf? What do I want? You got to let me shop with you. Don't bring in everything and then you say, now I want you to work with what I got you. No, Jerry keeps doing this wrong. And that's why Jimmy was so unique. You know why? He bought them doggone groceries. Tired Cowboy fans said, that's the problem, Spider-Man. How we going to bid for somebody we don't know who it's going to be? There it is. You got to let them, you got to let them shop. The new head coach could come in and absolutely hate this guy. Y'all want to know what the problem is between Jerry and Mike McCarthy? Ezekiel Elliott. Mike McCarthy wanted Aaron Jones. Jerry Jones wanted his buddy Ezekiel Elliott. And Mike McCarthy is saying, I don't want you doing the shopping for me, bruh. Let me do my own shopping. Can I do some of the shopping? And I'm going to tell y'all something. I'm still looking at Aaron Jones make a difference on the Minnesota Vikings. And Aaron Jones would have made a difference in Dallas. Him and Rico Dowdle, boy, you want to talk about a 1-2 punch? That's a knockout punch right there. You said tired, that's not a problem. You don't think the jurors, jurors 3 steps ahead of us? I do think he's 3 steps ahead of us because I think he knows what he's doing. But I don't think he knows what he's doing. Jerry keeps doing the same thing and it's not working. It's the same thing, it's not working. We need FA veterans versus our veterans because free agent veterans versus our veterans because they come in with grit and hunger for football. Look how Brandon Cooks will talk and encourage and teach Gallup, especially coming back from injury. Brandon Cooks was an asset to this team. Unfortunately, he's going to be gone. Gee, you do what Detroit and Philly did when you are 1 or 2 players away. Oh, yeah. And you know what? I still fought Jerry for not running that team back from last year. If I would have been Jerry, I'd have ran that team back as much as I could. Whoever I could keep, I'd have ran it back. I'd have ran that entire team back if I could have, and I would have just added Derrick Henry or got me a running back and added one more wide receiver. And that same team from last year, I bet you they roll over the NFL. Put Saquon Barkley on that team from last year. They roll over the NFL, especially the NFC. Tyler says Pittsburgh just got Mike Williams for a 5th. I'm telling you, these teams trying to win now. Jerry loves fans like Spider-Man Freddy. This dude, it was much better out there. You could have got for less, but let y'all tell it. This is a genius move. I don't think they're saying it's a genius move, but I think they're saying wait and see. But me, I don't even want to wait and see because I think this move allows Jerry to be lazy. It allows him to be lazy. The Joneses are in love with the player, BS being in love with improvement versus improvement. Jerry is greedy business and he needs to be greedy in football. So I'm about to show y'all something and everything y'all talking about. If Cooper Rush doesn't play well, do you put Trey Lance in? What's going on, Andre? Let me tell you something. I don't care if Cooper Rush does play well. I'm still putting in Trey Lance. I just don't want to see Cooper Rush. We already know what we have. What's Cooper Rush going to do? Is he going to go on some mythological run? I mean, you let the Dallas Cowboy fans tell it. The Dak Prescott hating, Dallas Cowboy loving fans. Cooper Rush about to come in and take it to the Super Bowl. According to them, he about to come in and light this thing up. And he going to show everybody it was Dak Prescott and not Mike McCarthy. So I don't know. I mean, if Cooper Rush wins the next game and the next game and the next game, let him ride it out the whole season. Why not? We need a complete video of what Dak said to Trey after the game on Sunday. We suck started looking for a new team. Jerry Butsy too much, you see it. I'm saying the same thing, Nisi. I'm withholding judgment until I get it verified what Dak Prescott said. Because I can see the sucks part. But I don't know if he said this sucks. So I need to see what he said. Cowboys can't preach do your job, but the owner GM doesn't allow the coaching staff to do theirs. And the one thing I still say, Nisi, I fault Mike for, but the stuff that he can do, he won't even do that. Can someone explain to me why Zeke came back? He's ready for retirement. Well, I'll tell you one even further. We're going to discuss this afternoon. I don't understand why he's still on the team. If that was anybody else, they wouldn't be on this team. He's been tardy to meetings. He's been missing meetings. He's been causing disruption in the locker room. They wouldn't put up with this from nobody else. But because Jerry bought him in, they're allowing it. That mentholatum got to Jerry a 4th round pick, though. Watch this. What up? So watch this. I'm going to show you why I got problems with this pick that Jerry Jones made. And this is the reason why right here. The reason is Ryan Flanoy. Do we not realize that Jonathan Mingo, his measurables are similar to Ryan Flanoy? The Dallas Cowboys, y'all, whether we realize it or not, the Cowboys are very poor at developing talent. They're very poor at developing talent. This kid right here has been working with Chris Carter. This kid was really, really good in college. And I'm sure I'm assuming the school he went to is smaller. I don't really watch college football like that. But when they start talking about these players, then I go start looking them up and stuff. He runs a 4.4, 4.40. 39.5-inch long jump. 11 broad jump. Athleticism score, 84. Total score, 71. Height, 6'1". Weight, 202. Arms, 31.58. Hands, 10.18. Prospect grade, 5.96. I really think the Cowboys got a steal on this guy. And if they were really developing him, he should already be on the field. Jalen Brooks should not be out there. Or at least this guy should already be splitting time with Jalen Brooks. It makes no sense to me unless you're telling me that Ryan Flanoy is absolute trash. Unless you're telling me Ryan Flanoy is showing you absolutely nothing in practice. I mean, he's just garbage. Why in the world, y'all? Why in the world do they go out and get a guy that if you look at him, let's look at Jonathan Mingo. If you look at Jonathan Mingo, are we not looking at the same guy? We're looking, y'all, at the same guy. Let's see. 6'2" versus 6'1", 220 versus 202. Okay. 18 more pounds. 32.1. 32 1/8. Okay, hold on. Let me go back. 31 5/8. You're looking at 10.18 versus 10.38. Am I missing something? Am I missing something? Wait a minute. The production score, I see where that's different. 58. Now watch this. I got something else here. I had to do a little research on this because I was like, this ain't making sense to me. This isn't making sense to me. So, doing some more research on this, I'm going to show you just how Jerry Jones works. And this is why Jerry Jones is dangerous to be working in the front office. Let's see, I might not have it up here anymore. Even if I don't, I can just tell you. But let me tell you what happened. The Dallas Cowboys made a trade for Jonathan Mingo. You want to know why? Because Jonathan Mingo was high on the draft board for the Dallas Cowboys. He was high on the draft board for the Dallas Cowboys. And Jerry Jones said he was high on the draft board, and this is the part that is confusing to me. But he got picked up by Carolina. So they went with Schoonmaker? So you were going to draft him also as a number 2? So my next problem becomes with this. So if he's a number 2, why wasn't he number 2 on Carolina? Why wasn't he number 2 on Carolina? And I understand, Spider-Man, you said he might have had the wrong guy throwing to him. But why is the guy in front of him ahead of him? And he's a number 2? I don't understand it. That don't make sense to me. Jerry can say anything he want to. That don't make sense to me at all. And to add insult to injury, okay, I'm gonna give you the benefit of the doubt. You're gonna go out there and get Jonathan Mingo. But you know the other part I don't understand? Mike Leslie wrote an article on it today. Mike Leslie is saying the same thing that I'm saying. Mike Leslie is asking the question, okay, you got Mingo, but can you explain to me why you got him? Why did you give up a 4th round draft pick? What? For a guy that's basically on the bench? Who gives up a 4th round draft pick for a bench rider? Man, I can't deal with potential, bro. I can't deal with potential. That's bad business. Oh, now we about to talk business. Have you lost your mind? Hey, man, I want to trade for this dude. But this me and you on the phone. Why am I giving you a 4th rounder? For a guy that you don't even value as a 4th rounder no more. You got this guy on the bench. What? I wish I would. How about this? How about we give you a 6th rounder for him? And you keep your 7th round draft pick. We don't even want, we'll give you a 6th rounder for Mingo. Because to me, this type of wide receiver, these second chance guys, that's the whole point of getting them on the cheap. Amari Cooper wasn't a second chance guy. Amari Cooper was already a beast. Despite some of the things that people were saying about Amari Cooper, everybody knew though, Amari Cooper, when he want to be, he a super stud. And if he motivated, he a real super stud. Watch how he play with Buffalo. Watch how he play with Buffalo, y'all. Amari Cooper got off the plane, still had his dress socks on with his suit and caught a touchdown. Man, people don't understand. Amari Cooper, man, I would have kept him. I don't care what the Cowboys talking about. Yep, he went to Ole Miss. They always got good receivers there. And you know what? I think that's what they're banking on. The same reason why they banked on Schoonmaker. You know why? Michigan. Harbaugh, professional coach. I'm telling you. But you didn't get him. What's going on, Jeanette? You didn't get him. Now you got an opportunity to get him at a bargain? I'm not giving up a 4th for him. I'm just not doing it. I'd rather go in the draft. I'm not doing it. I think, unfortunately, Flournoy blew his chances to play when he caught him fumbling that pass to Dak threw to him. Okay, well, what's going to happen when this guy do the same thing? What's going to happen when he do it? I'm telling y'all, the Cowboys are very poor at developing talent. They're very poor. Michael James tank season. I call it playing demolition. Playing demolition. They're imploding from the inside out. And I do agree with you, Spider-Man. I don't think they got him for this year. And that's my problem. I think they got him for the next year plan. I don't want anybody for the next year plan. If you're going to start with a clean sheet of paper, minus the quarterback and the wide receiver, then start with a clean sheet of paper. Don't bring in somebody who's been somewhere else. You go out in that draft and you get you a wide receiver in the first, the second, and I don't even know if I'm going beyond the second. How is the Cowboys going to be in the draft? Guess what, y'all? I'm putting CeeDee Lamb on notice. I'm drafting your replacement. I'm drafting somebody who's going to push you. And if he push you to be greater, guess who win? The Dallas Cowboys and the fan base. Because now we get to extend CeeDee Lamb, and we got somebody who is a 1B or a 2 on the verge of being a 1 in another 2 to 3 years. This makes no sense to me. It creates laziness because I'm telling you, I think you said it, Freddie, or somebody said it maybe. The moment this guy catches a touchdown, don't let him mess around and catch 3. Wide receiver will be marked off of the Dallas Cowboys draft board in the top 3 rounds. And they've already given away their 4th. Wide receiver will be marked off their list in the top 3 rounds. I don't understand it. I think the Cowboys should have kept that 4th round because I think you need to go all offense first 3 rounds. We've been doing too much of this playing around in the first 3 rounds. All we keep trying to do is the line. Okay, how about you go get you one of those linemen in free agency? How about do that? Because there's always a good lineman, offensive and defensive, always in free agency. Get one of them. Get one of them. And instead of just sitting back trying to, okay, we like the guys we have. Nope, that's not how you win, Jerry. You get you somebody in free agency, in the trenches. You go in that draft. You go in the top 3 rounds, and you get those skill positions. Running back or wide receiver at the number 1 spot, whichever one you want to do. I would prefer running back because we already know you're going to run him in the ground for 4 seasons. So get your running back. Get the best one you can. Second round, get your wide receiver. Get your wide receiver. I just don't like it. I want my YouTube make no sense to let go of Amari Cooper and Gallup, and now they're running out and desperately trade a 4th round pick for this guy. That's my problem. 4th round? That's crazy. That is crazy work. We traded Amari for a 5th, and Jerry still says he's a football guy. Make it make sense, Niecy. Come. This team would be so much better if the GM would take his feelings out of it. 2 in his feelings. 2 running backs on the wide receiver. I'm telling you, Andre. I'm telling you. I get that running back in the 1, wide receiver with the 2, and if there's another running back, I get him in the 3rd. Man, come on. This makes no sense. And let me bring this part in. Because we're mentioning what he did in college. And this is where I got really confused. Because, let's see, let me put this part in here. Maybe it's not this article. Let me make sure. Okay, so first, let me show you why I was confused. So, when I looked him up and I started looking at his history, and I got confused. It says, in his 1 game against Cowboys, he's caught 1 6-yard pass in week 11 last season. And so Jerry says they liked him prior to the draft. They selected tight end Shoemaker in round 2 because they couldn't get him. So that leads me to believe that they were going to get him in the 2nd. So then they turn around and say, look at his stats. Mingo played 4 years at Ole Miss, catching 112 passes for 1,758 yards, 15.7 average, and 12 TDs in 41 career games. Now, y'all gonna have to help me out now because I like to talk facts. I didn't have time to do enough research on this. So y'all who watch college football, what is the average amount of catches for a wide receiver in college football? Because when I see 112 passes in 41 career games, so we're around somewhere 30 passes, 30 to 40 catches a season, give or take. That's not a lot of output. I mean, even when I look at 1758, I mean, it sounds like he played 4 years in college. And I know they only played 10 games, but even then, what is that averaging out to? Somewhere around 400, 425 a season, give or take. 12 TDs, 41 career games. That's averaging out to what? 12 TDs, I mean, 3 TDs a season? I mean, did he really come on in his... I haven't done enough history on him. I didn't have the time, but I'm just wondering, what's all the hoopla about? And then it dawned on me. And I did a little bit more reading on this very article, and watch what it says. He boosted his stock with a strong workout at the combine. He boosted his stock, the combine. So it wasn't his stats per se, but his combine workout. So look at this, 4.46 yard 40, pretty good. Bench putting up bench reps, 22. He jumped 10'9" broad jump, 39.5 in the vertical jump. I'm still confused. Because Ryan Flournoy ran a 4.44 in the 40. I'm confused. His vertical jump, 39.5. Hold on a second. Let's see. 39.5. So every time I keep going back and forth, 39.5. That's strange because he has a 39.5. Jumping, 10.9. I go back to Ryan Flournoy, 11. What are we saying here? We got the same receiver that we got. We went and traded for the same receiver we have on the bench? What? Look at the athleticism score. Let's see here. So, you're telling me, based on the combine, because that's what they're basing this on, you're telling me based on the combine, 78, Ryan Flournoy's athleticism, 84? Make it make sense, y'all. Make it make sense. Make it make sense. I'm just not giving Jerry any credit for this. I'm not giving any credit. I don't understand it. The move don't make sense. Boy, my son on her. Boy, I mean, I think we should trade for Patrick Mahomes. This is my crazy son. Stop it. Boys are going to need an offensive guard to replace Martin. He gone. He gone, Freddie. Because I think he is done after this season. Oh, he done. Only way Martin plays, there would literally have to be a team that he know going to go to the Super Bowl. I think Martin done. So if you go first round, second round, third round, fourth round, running back, wide receiver, whatever, you said, let's see. When do you pick Martin's replacement? Remember what I said? Get him in free agency. That's what a lot of people do. Get him in free agency. And if you're not going to get him in free agency, my problem is you gave away a 4th rounder. You could have pushed one of those running backs to the 4th. got you that lineman in the third. You're putting yourself in a predicament. Now, who knows? Maybe they'll take some of those picks, because if they'll accumulate some more picks, maybe they'll trade some picks and get back into the fourth, or maybe get into the third. But then that don't make sense to me either. Why trade back up to get what you sold when you didn't have to? You didn't have to sell like that. You could have literally just said, "Hey man, I give you a fifth or a sixth, or I'm done." The Mingo pick don't make sense. It don't make sense. Cowboys will get a top 5 pick this year, Andre, and not just that. That isn't the part that we ought to be excited about. The fact they're going to be at the top of every round. That's the part you have to be excited about. Because I believe that Jerry has gotten tired of players that he's wanted. They're gone by the time he get there. And we already know what they're going to do in the draft. The Cowboys rarely trade up. They rarely trade up. So they're going to try to, they want to maximize their position. They're hoping for A.J. Brown, but going to end up with Laquan Treadwell. I think the Cowboys are always wanting to be the smartest person in the room. That they feel like that they want to be the team that picks a player that people gave up on, and we're going to show you that that player still not only got juice, but they're going to help us get to a championship. And I haven't seen that player yet. I haven't seen that player yet. I've actually seen it happen to them more often than not, that players that leave the Dallas Cowboys, they go on to other teams, they develop them, and they wind up being on Super Bowl teams. The Cowboys don't develop talent good. And it's not that they don't get talented players. They just don't develop them. Watch what I tell you. Let the Dallas Cowboys let go of Rico Dowdle. He'll go somewhere else, and he'll be a top-tier running back. He'll be a top-tier running back, I promise you. And I'm going to show you the final thing, and then I'm going to bring it to a close. But I'm going to show you the next part. Freddie says, dude, all the stats and measurements can and could be the same, but two things no one can measure is a player's heart and his want to. I agree, but you got to show me his want to. Because if I'm not mistaken, I'm not a college football aficionado, but doesn't this kid Ryan Flournoy come from a smaller school? Ryan Flournoy comes from a smaller school, if I'm not mistaken. And to work your way into the NFL draft? Hey, man, that's hard in itself. Man, that's serious. I don't get it. I'd have to know what they're measuring. I understand what you're saying, Freddie, but that don't seem like what they're measuring to me. Because they clearly said it was the combine score that moved him up. And the Dallas Cowboys had him high on the board. And so it's like they won't give up, he's on our board. We wanted him, so now we got an opportunity to get him. Man, move on past that stuff. You've seen everything you need to see. He's that good, Freddie. We're talking about heart, right? Why didn't he move up the Carolina Panther depth chart? Because for every time we'll say that, well, he didn't have the right quarterback. So the other wide receivers had the right quarterback that were in front of him? What were they showing? He's barely been productive. So I don't understand why we always think we're the ones who are going to get this player and turn him into something. The GM got rid of every coach that was helping with player development. Troy Aikman said it best. When are we going to stop patting dudes on the butt? He used the other word. When are we going to start patting dudes on the butt and start coaching? And we get these players and we pat them on the butt. Oh, that's why we got you. You're this, you're that, you're this, you're that. And they don't turn out to be half of what we think. They don't. There's no way we could have been looking at drafting a wide receiver in that draft in the second. If he's the one they seen that stood out, we really do have a scouting problem. me put this back up here so y'all can see it again. There's no way we could have been looking at drafting a wide receiver in that draft in the second if he's the one they seen that stood out. We really do have a scouting problem. Tired, doesn't it show you though? So you couldn't get him, and so you went worse. You got Schoonmaker? I watched Schoonmaker at Michigan. I was shocked when the Cowboys got Schoonmaker. I don't watch college football. But, you know, when they start getting to the playoffs, I'll pay a little bit more attention. I watched him. I was shocked when the Cowboys got him. So you telling me you went from Mingo to Schoonmaker? They were trying to throw that pick away. That's the only thing I can figure. They could have went O-line, D-line. They went with Schoonmaker because they couldn't get Mingo? Boy. How many times have we seen a player on a team not do anything, then get traded to a new team, and as if by magic that player starts balling? That's not my problem, Freddie. When does that happen to Dallas? I've seen us give away those players. I haven't seen us bring in those players. That's my problem. We got a problem with player development. If we were a team that developed talent real good, I'd be like, oh, I see what they're doing. We don't develop talent well. We didn't have to develop Amari Cooper. He was already a super stud. But I haven't seen players that the Cowboys bring in from other teams, and we give them a third or a fourth chance, and they turn out. Haven't seen it. GM and owner allow a player to say, I'm a DN, not linebacker. I'm playing DN. And they also allow CeeDee Lamb, who they just signed for $31 million, to say he wasn't coming out of a game, and he don't get an X-ray. I mean, what? I know people want to, oh, he's so tough. Jerry Jones, oh, he's so tough. He got back out there. He gritted it up. Shut up. I'm not signing you for $31 million, and then you're not going to let the guys who I pay to take care of you to not at least put you in the blue tent, take you into the locker room. No, you're not going back on that field. Get his helmet. You're going to the locker room, X-rays immediately. They come back out negative, you're still going to sit down. We're putting ice on that shoulder, and you're done. Dak's out the game. There's no hope of winning. Sit down somewhere. You don't get to do that on my team. That's crazy. That's crazy. But that's the kind of stuff we do around here. It makes no sense. And so that's why I'm saying, you know, this whole thing with the Mingo thing, man, I'm not trying to knock the kid. I mean, I'm just trying to understand it. I mean, this guy isn't some just guy that you're looking at going, man, this guy killed it in college. He didn't kill it in college. He didn't kill it in college. I don't understand. I understand it because they're saying his combine. How many times have people been fooled by combine things? How many times? We get these guys, they run up in the league, they run 4.2, 4.25 40s and all this kind of stuff. And then these guys disappear out the league. The combine? If you don't know everything you need to know about that player before the combine, your scouting is terrible. Your scouting is terrible. Your scout should be at this kid's games, watching all of his film, talking to his coaches. Before you even meet him, you should already know what he's about. You're going to let the combine? Man, I'm telling you, I just think the combine is one of the most deceptive things out there. It's deceptive. It's like a kid like Bo Jackson. Why would I need Bo Jackson to do the combine? Why would I need Deion Sanders to do the combine? Now, some guys, they raise their draft stock at the combine. I understand it. But I'm also not going to let the combine make me overlook what they've put together as a body of work. I need to use both of these things and use common football sense. He is not what we need right now. I don't understand it. That's my very point. Don't do anything at the trade deadline. Just if you're not going to sell players, Dallas, don't do nothing. Don't do anything. You need every draft. I don't understand it. It's a fourth rounder. I do not understand it. That's crazy to me. That's absolutely crazy. That's all I can tell you. But we're going to be back this afternoon. We're going to be back this evening, and we're going to get into some more of this trade stuff because I think the trade deadline looks like we got about, another 3 hours maybe? I think it's either over at 3 or 4 o'clock. And let me give y'all something else. Hold on. Oh, man, I got to show you this. And I'll bring this up again. Everyone was fooled by Brady's combine. Watch this, Niecy. Not me. Anybody who watches college football, I don't watch college football, but I do remember Michigan, because, these schools like those, they talk about them a lot. I remember that this kid named Tom Brady, if I'm not mistaken, he was sharing the quarterback role with another quarterback. But even if you look at Brady, some of the signs were there. I don't think the signs we got now, I don't think the stuff we got now, no one could have guessed it. No one could imagine Tom Brady was going to be that good. But I also think with Tom Brady, it was the perfect storm. He was exactly what Bill Belichick needed. Just like Andy Reid. Patrick Mahomes was exactly what Andy Reid needed. Because Andy Reid has always been good. But it's just when certain things just were not right. He got to Kansas City. He got an owner and a GM that trusted him. He had great personnel around him. And he could concentrate on football. And even though Alex Smith was good, he said, I just need just a little bit something else. Got Patrick Mahomes. Bill Belichick. You know what? I believe that the Patriots could have won with Bledsoe. I believe they're going to the Super Bowl that season with Bledsoe. That year that Brady came in and took his spot, I believe they're going to the Super Bowl with Bledsoe. I do. And as a matter of fact, if I'm not mistaken, wasn't it the game before the Super Bowl that Bledsoe came back in, won the game for the New England Patriots, and then they made the decision to let Brady start in the Super Bowl, even though it was Bledsoe's job to begin with? He got hurt. Brady goes in. Brady gets hurt. He goes in, he wins, but because Brady got us here, Bledsoe sat on the bench. It just happens. Yeah, 4 Eastern. So it'll be over. But let me show you this one before I go. I got to give you this one. This is the one that's going to make you sick. This is going to make you sick. I watched this last night. And I'm sorry, y'all. All I could do was shake my head. All I could do. I'm like, this just makes no sense. It just makes no sense. Let's see here. And I'm pretty sure some of y'all thought the same thing, even if you didn't say it. I'm sure you thought the same thing. Hold on a second. Okay, this is where we're going to close out. Okay, Andre said, do you think Bill Belichick turned Dak Prescott into Tom Brady? I'll tell you this. Bill Belichick, contrary to what these quote-unquote Dallas Cowboy loving Dak Prescott haters think, Bill Belichick thinks the world of Dak Prescott. Listen to him talk about Dak Prescott. See, people who know the game, they understand what Dak Prescott is. They understand what he is. And they also understand what's going on around him and why Dak is not having the success that he should be having. No quarterback has been, no Super Bowl quarterback. I'm including Patrick Mahomes. I don't know about Tom Brady. I have to do a little bit more thinking about him. Short of Tom Brady. And I am going to include him because he had good coaching around him. Name one other quarterback that has had the expectations of Dak Prescott to carry owner / GM bad decisions, bad coaching, inconsistent play calling around him, inconsistent teams around him. People talk about how talented that team was last year. Team had no linebackers. Tony Pollard coming off injury. Tony Pollard wasn't the same Tony Pollard that he is even now or that year before. But Dak Prescott has to carry all of that. Only one top 100 wide receiver. Dak has to carry all of that. He's expected to win because there's a star on his helmet. They don't command that of anybody else. Not even Patrick Mahomes. Anybody watch Kansas City last night? You tell me how Patrick Mahomes looked. You tell me how he looked. Anybody notice something about the Kansas City Chiefs last night? Let me show you a couple of things. Anybody notice anything about the Kansas City Chiefs last night? I want you to feast your eyes on Exhibit A of what I keep saying. Do y'all know how they really won that football game? See, if you look at this right here and you see 34-44, 291 yards and 3 touchdowns. See, if you look at that stat right there, you're going to be deceived. Patrick Mahomes, if I'm not mistaken watching that game, Patrick Mahomes threw those touchdowns on 3rd downs, but he threw the ball 44 times. But you want to know what was amazing that happened in the second half and why they were able to pull that game off? I want you to feast your eyes on this first. One Kareem Hunt. That people were saying that the Cowboys should go out and get, and everybody was saying that Kareem Hunt is washed. I want you to look at the number of carries. How many times did I tell you that the Cowboys need to be handing Rico Dowdle the football? 25 times. Look how many times Kareem Hunt carried the football. 27 times. And he only got 106 yards. People don't understand what the run is for. Just because he runs 27 times don't mean he's going to have a 5 yard per carry average. It doesn't mean he's going to run for 175 yards. This man ran 27 times for 106 yards. And there was a dude on here yesterday talking about, well, Rico Dowdle started slow. You know what they said about Kareem Hunt last night? They said he started slow. He didn't end slow. I think you said it yesterday, Freddie. You know what Andy Reid did to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers the last 3 drives? He literally battered them to death. I mean, I'm just watching the last 2 drives. Kareem Hunt, Kareem Hunt, Kareem Hunt, Kareem Hunt, Kareem Hunt. Okay, Patrick, throw a first down. Kareem Hunt, Kareem Hunt, Kareem Hunt. Kareem Hunt was a battering ram last night. You don't think that could help Dak Prescott? Colin Cowherd, who continuously hates on Dak Prescott, he said if you give Dak Prescott a 100-yard rusher, he is Patrick Mahomes. Isn't that strange? Do you realize how well play action works if you will just consistently run the ball? They ran the ball last night literally, 35 times? Y'all gonna call me the Black Kyle Shanahan before it's over. What did I tell you? Dalvin Cook should be running the ball 10 times. Rico Dowdle 25 times. That's 35 times. It's not about running for 200 and 300 yards. It's not about having a dominant running game. It's about dominating the other team. You dominate them with the run. You don't get them to do what they do best. Pass rush. You ask most offensive lines, what would they rather do? They'll tell you run the ball. Ask defensive lines, what would they rather do? Rush the passer? Rush the passer. They get the advantage. They get to make the moves. They get to force whatever's happening if they can get some penetration. Y'all gonna listen to me. You're gonna learn football. I'm not a genius, but you'll learn some football. You gotta run the ball. I don't care if you got Patrick Mahomes, you gotta run the ball. Look at the score. This is the real crazy part. It took the Kansas City Chiefs overtime to beat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And you want to know the crazy part? They said Kareem Hunt started slow. I want you to look at this part right here. Third quarter, Kansas City Chiefs, 0 points. 0 points. With Patrick Mahomes as the quarterback, 0 points. Anybody who watched that game, ask them what happened in the fourth quarter. Was it Patrick Mahomes? Nope. Kareem Hunt, Kareem Hunt, Kareem Hunt, Kareem Hunt. Okay, Patrick is third down, throws a touchdown. They battered them. They battered them down with Kareem Hunt. They killed him. You don't need a dominant run game. You just need to dominate with your run game. Then you can pick and choose. You can do some things when you're dominating. You don't have to get 300 yards when you're running. But if you keep running, you know what that defense starts to think? Why do they keep running? We're tired of them running. Why do they keep running? Why do they keep running? Why? We're tired out here. We're tired of getting up off the ground. We're tired of running side to side. We're tired of getting pounded in the middle. Kareem Hunt killed him. He killed him. He killed him. And there's no getting around it. I'm telling them, Tony, did you watch the game last night, Tony? Andy Reid, I was just looking at him. I said, I wish Dak Prescott could get this guy to be his coach. He sees that his quarterback is not quite what he was. And I don't necessarily know if it's not what he's not what he used to be, but I think he's recognizing, we don't have Tyreek Hill no more. Travis Kelce is dating Taylor Swift, so he got his head in the clouds. We don't have the wide receivers that we used to have. And I'm even laughing. Freddie, you brought something up. Isn't it strange? We couldn't do anything with Hendershot. Guess who was catching passes from Patrick Mahomes last night? Hendershot. He's on an 8-0 team. And they're using everything they got. I'm telling us. Nisi, you hit it on the head. Ran like Forrest Gump. Gary said Dak has to overcome stupidity for 8 years. I wish they could run Rico 27, 30 times a game. McCarthy is way too pass happy. The only issue with Rico is that he can't stay healthy. Gary, I've been saying it. Nobody's been listening. I've been saying it for weeks. They should have been running Rico 25, 30 times a game. Run him in the ground. Run him in the ground. Can't stay healthy? I wonder what would happen when they got Kareem Hunt to go with him. We could have got Kareem Hunt. We've been sitting Dalvin Cook down. Dalvin Cook can spell him. But hey, he gonna prove to us. If I'm the coach, we gonna know today. Oh, we gonna know today if he can stay healthy. He on my team. We about to test them waters out, bro. We ain't playing around here. I'm not protecting your health. You get your butt in that offseason. You get you a personal trainer. You get yourself conditioned because you're running this ball this year. And there is no ifs, ands, and buts about it. We are running the ball. Gary agreed, but let Rico run until his wheels fall. I'm going to run up till the wheels fall off that thing. Man, I'm telling you. I'm going to run that ball. I'm telling him. Hey, man, I'm going to tell you, you better be ready. After every game, you better get 2 ice baths. One after the game and one in the morning. You are going to run that ball. Cowboys need to get back to having fun. It's a political football. It's fun. It ain't rocket science. That's it. Now I'm about to hit you with the real one before I get off here. What's up, Danny? What's going on? I'm telling them, man. You watched the game last night, Danny? Tony said instead we trade for a wide receiver instead of focusing on fixing the O-line or D-line. That 4th round, man, you could have done so many things with that. The 4th round is a very versatile pick, and that's why I got a problem. Back in the 90s, defensive linemen would line up and say, oh, Lord, here comes the big old L.A. and big old Nate New with him and Stefanowski and coming behind, and then they got him and the Johnson at you. I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you, Freddie. Y'all want the one that really hurts. Oh, we've been talking about that already, Danny. I'll talk about it again this evening. I don't think they should have got Mingo. It was a bad move. Very bad move to get Mingo. But watch this. I'm about to hit y'all with this, and I got to be off for about 1:30. But now I'm going to hit y'all with the real one. Y'all ready for the real one? I'm about to hit y'all with the one that really hurt. We gave up a 4th round draft pick for Mingo. Who knows how he's going to turn out? But I wouldn't have done it. But if we were really trying to help Dak Prescott this season, one, we would just be running the ball. I don't even think we need a running back. I just think we'd be running the ball. That old line that bad, Mike McCarthy, shut your mouth and run the ball. Number 2, I want you to feast your eyes on this. Anybody see somebody on this list that looks familiar? He wears the number 8 and his name is DeAndre Hopkins. Do you realize the Dallas Cowboys have not only had one opportunity to get DeAndre Hopkins, but 2 opportunities to get DeAndre Hopkins? And do we not realize that DeAndre Hopkins is the main reason, one of the main reasons, because I think that Kareem Hunt is the main reason. Do we not realize that DeAndre Hopkins caught 8 passes for 86 yards? Anybody who's been watching football, take a wild guess at what round, take a wild guess at what they traded for DeAndre Hopkins. What did they trade for DeAndre Hopkins? Just anybody who knows, just throw it down in the chat real quick before we go. What do you think they gave up for DeAndre Hopkins? What do you think they gave up? Jerry and other owners have devalued the running back position on purpose. Tried to do it with the wide receiver position last year, and now the running backs are very important. And I'm going to tell you something. Saquon Barkley is doing a whole lot to try to get that stock back up. But I think them running backs might need to do what Saquon was saying. They might need to go on strike. All the running backs, including the ones in the draft. If you're not going to get these contracts back to where they need to be, we ain't running for you. Get you some Deebo Samuels back there and run. But we're not going to be running for you. The Dallas Cowboys content creators work harder on trying to make this team better versus the front office. Facts. Anybody guess what they gave up? What did they give up for DeAndre Hopkins yet? I think Mingo can run the ball too. His build. Well, why not? Why are you not using Flournoy? They got the same build. They're the exact same build. I wanted D-Hop. Me too. They should have gotten DeAndre when he was still in Houston. Does anybody know, though, what the Kansas City Chiefs, what did they get him for? Jerry doesn't want to do anything at all because we wanted Derrick Henry. But no, Jerry is a pain in the butt. Oh, yeah, he wanted to bring his boy Zeke back. Needs to sell a box of chicken. Watch this. You might as well say it's a box of chicken. 5th round draft pick. DeAndre Hopkins? 5th round draft pick? This is insane. This is insane. The Kansas City Chiefs, 5th round draft pick. And DeAndre Hopkins is still out there performing. It's literally crazy. There's no other way to slice it. I don't understand. I just don't understand half of the things. I understand some of these things, but I don't understand them. I mean, DeAndre Hopkins, man, you watch what I tell you. Do you know what Patrick Mahomes said last night that really blew my mind? Patrick Mahomes said, and he's only going to get better. Patrick Mahomes has basically said, and I'm going to get him the ball. DeAndre Hopkins is only 32. I just don't think there's anything wrong. You're talking about a wide receiver, not a running back. Even if you're saying we're going to rebuild, what would be wrong with having DeAndre Hopkins on your team for 2 or 3 years? What would be wrong with that? DeAndre Hopkins would be the perfect complementary receiver for CeeDee Lamb. He would push him and not necessarily being a danger of his spot, quote unquote, being taken. But DeAndre Hopkins could show him how to work, show him how to keep his body. Because DeAndre Hopkins, for the most part, has been in extremely good shape. DeAndre Hopkins, I'm telling you, has got about 3 more years left in him. He's going to be one of those 35-year-old receivers still doing his thing out there. He would be way more valuable than Mingo. Man, I would take DeAndre Hopkins for the next 3 years any day over Mingo. A 5th round draft pick? Man, this crazy. Let's do something else here before we get out of here. Let me see what he's working with on his contract, because we got to always give the Dallas Cowboys all the excuses. And the one excuse that the Dallas Cowboys, they hold the fan base captive with contracts. See, they get out there and start talking about them contracts out there in the court of public opinion, because they want the fan base to give them the excuse of the reason why we don't play in free agency is because of the contract of Dak Prescott, the contract of CeeDee Lamb. And it's funny, everybody else is doing it but them. Everybody else is doing it and doing it well than them. Let me show y'all this. I'm telling you, I'm not done with the Cowboys, but boy, I'm telling you. Boy, I'm done with the Cowboys. I'm not done with the Cowboys, but I'm done with the Cowboys. I want y'all to look at this nonsense. Look at the contract that DeAndre Hopkins has for the Kansas City Chiefs. Look at this nonsense. His base salary is $745. Basically $1.1 million restructure, $660,000 roster bonus, $2.3 million in incentives, cap hit $4 million. The rest of these are void years. He doesn't even have any guarantees. His potential is $13 million, but you've already got past half the season. So he's not even going to get that, I'm sure. What? You could get this man right here. And I don't understand all this cap stuff, but I'm thinking that the dead cap hit is not going to be on the team that picks him up. I think they eat that part of the cap. They got him basically for a box of chicken. That's what Nietzsche said. What was the risk? You probably could have negotiated the deal and said, hey, man, we'll keep you 3 for 20. 3 for 20 with the potential to be 3 for 30. DeAndre Hopkins is not even playing for $10 million a year, except in incentives. No excuse. No excuse. I don't understand the Mingo thing. I just don't understand it. I don't understand it. I'm with you, Nisha. I think you get him, you sign him for 3 years. I don't understand the Mingo thing. It don't make sense to me. It's going to allow this team to be lazy. Mingo mess around and catch 2 touchdowns from Cooper Rush over the next 3 or 4 games. Ooh, the Cowboys got him a start. Makes no sense. You know what I'd be doing? This is my, for sure, starting lineup. Running back for the rest of the year is going to be Rico Dowdle, Dalvin Cook, and Deuce Vaughn. I'm cutting Zeke. I know what Zeke is. I need to know what I have going into next year. My wide receiver room, CeeDee Lamb, Tolbert. I'll still work with Brandon Cooks, and I'm bringing up Ryan Flanoy. I'm going to see if Ryan Flanoy can beat Mingo. I don't need Mingo. I need to see what Flanoy is because they got a similar build, similar stats in some respect. Well, I've already drafted Flanoy. I'm going to roll with him. And I'm not going to waste a 4th-round draft pick. This is the 2nd season in a row. We gave up a 4th for Trey Lance. We didn't get nothing for it. And now we're going to give up a 4th for Mingo. What are we going to get for it? But why even see that when you got Flanoy? And then you got the draft coming up. You're going to be picking at the top of the rounds, not the middle. I don't understand it. The Mingo pick. I mean, I understand it, but I'm just saying rhetorically, I don't understand it. Them Jones boys, man, them Jones boys be killing themselves, boy. Them Jones boys be killing this team. Washington just signed Marshawn Lattimore while his team looked like, yep. Bro, we got over $100 million in cap space next season plus 28 right now. We can 1,000% afford D-Hop. He would have been nothing. I mean, you basically getting him like Nene said for a box of chicken. Continuing to be pass happy is Mike's problem. I think Mike McCarthy had dreams of being a quarterback. That's all I can figure. And we could have gotten Coop for a box of chicken and a soda. But pride comes before the fall. Our quarterback hurt. Our number 1 wide receiver hurt. But we like our guys. We're falling. And this move they made today now makes me even less confident in what they're going to do next season. But guess what, y'all? Even saying all that, I'm still rolling with the Dallas Cowboys. I wouldn't even feel right rooting for another team. So we just got to hope against hope. Hope they rise above all of the silliness they have to go through. Watching the Steelers add Williams for a 5th rounder. We gave up a 4th rounder. And they getting Williams for a 5th rounder. Lattimore, as they said to the Washington Redskins. Wow. Pass Russell Smith to the Lions. I mean, look at how everyone else is moving. Raiders. I don't know about the North Turner thing, but they're trying to get better. We're going to look at more of these drafts. Everybody will be done. I think what we'll do as soon as we come on, I think we're going to run through what everybody has done so we can dream about what could have been. So we can dream about what could have been with the Dallas Cowboys. And we're going to still be rooting for the Cowboys because that's our teams. The Jones don't know football. They think they do, but they don't. Roberta says the Jones have no clue and think they are all that. Yep. Our tackles are weak. Should run 2 tight end set with Ferguson in our 2nd round draft pick. Yep. We're in trouble. Yep. Jay Recruiter, Big Mike is not going to get fired. Jerry forced him to give up play calling. Jay, you've been hearing me say it. I just released a video again, or I'm about to release a video today talking about it again. I'm preparing the fan base at least as many as I can reach. Don't y'all be surprised if Jerry brings back Mike McCarthy. Don't y'all let Jerry surprise y'all. Because he ain't going to surprise me. I'm actually going to be more surprised if he lets go of Mike. But I wouldn't be surprised. Hey, Mike, you're going to still be the coach. But we're going to get a new play caller. And if it's Brian Schottenheimer, I'm still going to watch. I'll complain a little bit, but then I'm going to say roll with it. I'm here for the 3-ring circus, Niecy. Me too. I got my popcorn. It is what it is. I'll see y'all this evening, if the Lord is willing. If you like this video, please like, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you'll know when I post the next video on Let's Talk Cowboys, where we talk facts. Peace.